Since its introduction in the 1970s, Dungeons & Dragons has been one of the most enduring and wonderful RPGs ever made, even being considered by some as the father of tabletop RPGs. Of course, with such success, video game adaptations were bound to follow, and man, there were a ton of them. From the early 80s to today, there have been numerous games based on the many settings and campaigns offered for the pen and paper edition. One of the more popular series to come out of this was 1998's Baldur's Gate. Developed by a little-known studio called BioWare, this RPG, taking place in the Forgotten Realms campaign, received critical acclaim when it was released by critics and gamers alike, leading to expansions for the game and its sequel, Shadows of in 2001. So of course it was a no-brainer to develop a port of Baldur's Gate to consoles, and one for the Dreamcast was being made before it was cancelled. Then a PlayStation 2 port of the sequel was announced, but it turned out that BioWare wasn't developing the port, but instead the reins were handed over to Snowblind Studios. Then it was finally revealed that this game wasn't a port of Baldur's Gate 2, but an original title set in the same area, and it used a new game engine developed by Snowblind. 6 months after the Baldur's Gate 2 expansion, Throne of Bhaal, was released in June of 2001, Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance hit store shelves on PlayStation 2. Big Green owners didn't get it till October the following year.
But with a different game engine, would Dark Alliance be just as captivating as its PC brethren? Let's take a look and find out. Oh, yeah, I forgot. I don't have a case for this game yet, so I don't have anything to hold up. Sorry.
The story for Dark Alliance is your standard D&D fare, right down to the Dungeon Master sounding narrator. First, you choose which of the 3 heroes you want to play as. There's Cromlech, the dwarven fighter whose attacks and feats are strength and melee based, Vaughn, a human archer who's best at range attacks, and Adriana, an elven sorceress who's all about magic. Then the story begins with your chosen hero walking into the city of Baldur's Gate after a long journey, when suddenly they are ambushed by thieves. Before they can do anything, the city guard approaches and the thieves run off, but not without taking your gold. Bastards.
Easy pickings, Acorn.
Indeed. Let's see what our little ambush has won us.
Halt! Who goes there?
It's the watch.
Let's get out of here!
Yes, but take the gold. Leave the rest for the watch.
The guards help you up and point you to the Elf Song Tavern so you can rest for the night. To earn a little coin and get access to the sewers in order to hunt down those damn thieves, you agree to clear the cellar of rats for the innkeep, not knowing that these thieves have more than stealing in their plans, as they're working with an ancient and sinister evil that plans to destroy Baldur's Gate, and it's up to the heroic trio to stop them. As far as stories based on D&D, it's not terrible, but not thrilling either. I'd say it's in the middle. At the same time, it's cool that the game feels like a tabletop campaign, giving off that vibe of those Saturday nights sitting around a table covered in character sheets, dice bags, and your preferred snack and drink of choice.
I sent for the prisoner some time ago, but I have received no word from the bugbears in the sewers.
Send your men into the sewers. Find out what has happened to our soldiers and bring me the prisoner. Do not fail me in this, Khan.
Dark Alliance is a top-down action RPG, similar in a way to Diablo, where you progress through dungeons to complete quests, collect tons of loot, and gain experience to level up your character. You'll start in a town that serves as a hub world, where you'll accept both main and sub-quests, where equipment, gold, and XP are your rewards, as well as a shopkeep where you can buy and sell weapons, armor, accessories, and potions for refilling health, mana, as well as recall potions that allow you to teleport back and forth to town if needed. Once you head into the dungeons, it's pretty straightforward. Explore the area and hack and slash all enemies, collecting gold and loot till you get to the boss. Kill them and head to the next chapter. You'll pick up a wide assortment of different weapons, such as daggers, swords, clubs, axes, staves, and bows, to name a few, as well as armor for your head, hands, chest, and feet. There's also rings and necklaces that help boost your stats as well. As you level up, you'll earn points to spend on different feats for your character. These range from boosting stats to learning and strengthening new spells. At every 4th level, you'll also earn a point to spend on one of the 6 core attributes of your character: strength, intelligence, wisdom, dexterity, constitution, and charisma, straight out of the D&D handbooks. Co-op is also available for you and a friend as well, sharing the same screen. It sucks that only 2 can play when there's 3 characters available, and this was released on consoles with 4 controller ports, barring you had the accessory for one of those consoles, but at the same time I understand why this was done, as you're kind of trapped in that invisible barrier where one player can't walk ahead unless you're both walking ahead. As far as experience, gold, and loot go, whoever kills an enemy gets around 60% of the XP while the rest go to the other player, and whoever gets the gold gets it all. Yeah, back then there was no everyone gets gold feature, and, well, it sucked, but it's a product of the time. One last thing to mention is that when you beat the game, you unlock the Gauntlet, a survival mode where you play as Forgotten Realms' resident badass Dritz Duorden. I hope I pronounced that right. Here you have 15 minutes to make it to the end of the stage, killing all the enemies in your way. Do this and you unlock Extreme Difficulty Mode. When you beat the game in Extreme Mode, you unlock Drizzt as a playable character in the main game. As far as negatives go, I don't really have any. You could say the default controls are a bit awkward, but they're completely customizable, so that's no big deal. Sometimes the camera can be in a position where it's hard to see enemies, but you can just rotate it to where you need. I will say that the difficulty can be a bit taxing, especially when the enemies pull that infamous Kung Fu syndrome I talked about in my Hunter the Reckoning videos, where once 2 or 3 of them surround you, you better jump out of the way or your health will be drained completely. Visually, Dark Alliance isn't a bad-looking game for its time. The character models are designed really well and still hold up today in my opinion, while the enemies look to be ripped straight out of the monster manual. Stage design, while a bit basic in its locales such as crypts, caves, snow mountains, and the town hubs, are still detailed nicely. One thing I have to mention is the water effects. While nothing special now, I still think how they made the water ripple when you move through it look awesome, to this very day. On the audio side, the music, while not heard very much, is a wonderful orchestral soundtrack that feels like it would fit in a fantasy film or TV series. For voice acting, it's pretty good. The actors sound like they're giving these characters life instead of just phoning it in, with the standout being Xantam the Beholder, voiced by the late Tony Jay, who's voiced Judge Frollo in Disney's The Hunchback of Notre Dame, Megabyte in Reboot, and the Elder God in the Legacy of Kain series.
The City Watch came upon us as we were about to deal the killing blows, my lord. We were forced to flee to avoid being captured.
Your oversight has cost us much, Khan. Gather the soldiers. Although our secret entrances still remain undetected, it's only a matter of time before the dogs of the City Watch sniff us out, and we must be prepared for them.
I will see to it at once, my lord.
Khan, if the creature who destroyed the orb should make its way here...
It shall not come to that, my lord. I swear it.
We shall see, Khan. If you fail me in this, I shall attend to the matter personally.
Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance is a game that, even though it's outdated a little bit by today's standards, is still pretty fun to play, especially with a friend. The gameplay is basic enough that anyone can pick it up and play without having to be a scholar in Dungeons & Dragons, but just authentic enough for fans of the series to enjoy as well. It's also a decently priced game to pick up, so if you come across it, don't hesitate to grab it. Now obviously with a game set in such a beloved universe, a sequel was bound to happen. And there was. But that's for another time. So until then, this is the Dolly Popka saying thanks for watching and stay green, everybody. See you next time.